Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into something, well, fundamental. Something that maybe keeps you up at night sometimes. You know that feeling. You're putting in the hours, right? You're climbing, you're doing well, maybe getting promotions.
Yeah.
You feel like you're moving fast.
Yeah, pushing hard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then, maybe in a quiet moment, this little voice pucks up and asks, is my ladder, is it even leaning against the right wall?
Ah, that's the question, isn't it? And, the dialogue we looked at suggests it's more than just a fleeting thought. It's maybe the question.
Worth a lifetime of reflection, they said.
Absolutely. So today, we're diving into the actual structure of how we make money, what financial success even means, really, and why just being busy, well, it doesn't automatically mean you're getting closer to what most people actually want, which is, freedom.
Right. Our mission today, really, is to cut through that common advice of just earn more money and give you, our listeners, a kind of shortcut, a way to think about financial maturity, maybe internal maturity too, all based on this source material.
And it kicks off with this paradox, this observation that so many people climb and climb fast, but then they get to the top.
Yeah.
And they realize they're completely in the wrong place. The danger, the source says, is you get so wrapped up in the climbing itself, you forget to even look at the wall you're climbing on.
Okay, so where does this dialogue start?
Yeah.
It has to address the way most of us think first, right?
It does, yeah. The student figure in the dialogue points out that, well, society basically tells us to chase the quantity, get more money, get the promotion, hit that salary target.
That's the default setting, isn't it?
Yeah.
More money equals success. Simple?
Simple, but maybe wrong, or at least incomplete, because the teacher figure immediately pushes back, says it's not the amount of money, it's the quality of that money that really defines freedom.
The quality. Okay, what does that mean, quality of money?
Quality, in this sense, means how it's earned. Is it tied directly to your time, your effort right now, or does it come from somewhere else? This leads straight into analyzing the source of income.
Ah, okay. And that's where the framework comes in.
Right.
I know the source uses Robert Kiyosaki's model.
Exactly. The 4 income quadrants. It's a really powerful way to categorize not just like jobs, but whole economic ways of life.
Let's break that down because it seems pretty central. There are 4 ways people make money, grouped into 2 sides, right? A left side and a right side.
That's it. So on the left side, where the source says most people operate, you've got the E, the employee, someone who works for somebody else, trades time for a wage, basically.
Okay, employee, E. Got it. What else on the left?
Then you have the S, the self-employed. Think consultants, small shop owners, freelancers. They own their job, essentially, but they are the job.
Right. If they stop working, the money stops. Okay, that's the left side. E and S. What about the right side? This is where the source says freedom lies.
That's the argument, yes. On the right side, you have the B, the business owner. And this isn't just someone self-employed. This is someone who builds systems. Big businesses that run mostly without their direct hands-on involvement every single minute.
Okay, so they own a system, not just a job. And the last one?
The I, the investor. This person makes money with money. They put capital into assets, stocks, real estate, other businesses that generate income or grow in value.
ESBI, employee, self-employed, business owner, investor. And the key insight from the source is that these aren't just jobs, they're different ways of living.
Fundamentally different ways of living, yes. Different mindsets, different problems, different rewards.
So let's focus on that left side first, the E and S. Because you said, and the source emphasizes, that's where most people are. What's the inherent problem there, even if you're earning a lot?
The core issue, the absolute heart of the problem on the left side, is that you're selling the one thing you can't make more of.
Time.
Your time. You trade your hours for dollars. And the consequence is brutal, really. The harder you work, maybe the more you earn, but the busier you get. And the less free you actually become.
It's a trap. You earn more, but you have less life. We all know people like that, right? High earners, but completely chained to the job.
Absolutely. They get the big promotion, the corner office, the 6-figure salary, but suddenly they're working 70 hours a week. They never see their family. They can't take a real vacation because everything falls apart if they're not there. Their success builds their cage.
And what about the S, the self-employed? They often feel free, don't they? I work for myself.
They do feel free, and that's the specific danger there. Many people leave an E job to become an S.
Yeah.
The lawyer starts their own practice, the graphic designer goes freelance, they think, great, no boss, I'm free.
But the source disagrees.
Strongly. It asks a tough question. If you, the S, step away from your operation for, say, 6 months, does the income continue?
For most small S types, Probably not.
Right. So if the income stops when you stop, then you don't really own a business. The business, in a very real sense, owns you. You're the chief cook and bottle washer. You're indispensable.
So leaving your job to become self-employed, you just swapped bosses. And maybe the new boss to you is even tougher.
Often, yes. You're still trading time for money. The mechanism hasn't changed. The source is clear. The problem isn't being a doctor or a baker or whatever. It's the quadrant you operate from. Changing jobs from one E to another E just changes the scenery.
It doesn't change the wall your ladder is on.
Precisely. You're just climbing a different ladder, maybe faster, maybe slower, but still leaning against that same wall, the wall of trading time for money.
Okay, this naturally leads to the big question for everyone listening. If the left side is a trap, however gilded it might seem, how do you get to the right side, the B and the I quadrant? What's the secret?
Well, the source says it's not about earning more, which is the left side answer to everything. It's about thinking differently, fundamentally differently.
A mindset shift.
Exactly. They call it a conversion of perception. It's an internal change that has to happen before the money follows. It's about rewiring how you see work, money, time, risk, everything.
That's huge.
Yeah.
It means chasing the next paycheck is actually keeping you on the left side. Freedom comes from a different kind of thinking. So what does that right side thinking look like? What are the key differences?
The source highlights three main shifts in how right-siders operate. First, and this is crucial, they don't work for money.
Okay.
They build systems or acquire assets so that money works for them. The focus shifts from earning a wage to building or buying assets.
Can you give an example? Make that practical.
Sure. Think about a writer. A left side writer gets paid per article, maybe per hour. Income stops when they stop writing. A right side writer writes a book, an asset. They work hard once creating the asset, and then it potentially earns royalties for years, maybe decades.
Oh, okay. The book works for them while they sleep. That's leverage.
That's leverage and scale, money working for you, income detached from your immediate time input. Okay, second big shift.
What's number two?
They don't prioritize stability, or at least not the conventional kind. They prioritize and actively create freedom.
But stability sounds good. Steady paycheck, benefits. That's the lure of the E quadrant, right? Security.
It is the lure. But the right-sider sees that kind of stability as, well, maybe an illusion, because it depends entirely on someone else, your employer. Real security, they argue, comes from controlling your own income streams, your own systems. They trade the perceived safety of a salary for the actual freedom of ownership.
That definitely requires stepping into the unknown, which leads us to risk, I guess.
Yeah.
Clear difference, most people try to avoid risk.
Right, and that's the third shift. People on the right side don't necessarily run from risk. They understand it, they analyze it, and they learn to manage it.
So they're not just gambling.
No, not at all. The left side sees risk as purely negative, something to avoid. The right side sees calculated risk as the price of admission for potentially huge rewards. Business owners, investors, they're constantly assessing risk, mitigating it where possible, and leveraging it to grow. They understand that the biggest risk, perhaps, is staying put. Staying safe on the left side might be the riskiest financial strategy long term.
Wow. So it's a complete reframing. Not working for money, but making money work. Not seeking stability, but creating freedom. Not avoiding risk, but managing it. This sounds like that ultimate transformation the source talks about.
Exactly. Moving from being basically a slave to the next paycheck to becoming the master of the game. You're not chasing money anymore. You're directing it through the systems and assets you control.
It's about building things.
Yeah.
Businesses, portfolios that generate income, whether you show up that day or not.
That's the goal. Durable, scalable income streams independent of your direct hour-by-hour labor. That shift from selling time to building systems and deploying capital, that's the real financial transformation.
Okay, let's pull this all back together. We've gone through the quadrants, the mindsets, but the starting point, the core image, was the ladder and the wall. The advice was to pause and check the wall.
Yes. And it doesn't matter how high you've climbed, right? It doesn't matter if you just got a huge raise or landed a prestigious client. The only thing that matters fundamentally is, where is that ladder actually leaning?
Because if it's the wrong wall,
then every step up, every bit of effort, every success you have in that E or S quadrant paradoxically just takes you further away from real freedom, further down the wrong path.
That's quite a sobering thought.
Yeah.
And it's hard advice, isn't it? To pause when you feel like you're making progress.
It's incredibly hard. Momentum feels good. Climbing feels productive. But the teacher in the dialogue gives that stark warning. If you're climbing the wall that leads away from assets and towards just being owned by your own hard work, you need to stop and look.
So for you listening right now, maybe feeling that momentum, but also that nagging question. The source offers some key questions. Questions for honest self-reflection. The starting point for figuring out which wall you're really on.
Yeah, they're simple but deep. First one, am I primarily working for money right now, or am I actively setting things up so money works for me?
Okay, number 2.
Am I making choices based on seeking stability and safety above all else, or am I making choices aimed at maximizing my long-term freedom, even if it feels less secure short-term?
And the third one.
Am I fundamentally identifying myself as a money earner, someone who performs tasks for pay, or am I shifting my identity towards being a value creator and a system builder?
Those questions really cut to the chase, don't they? Answering them honestly tells you which wall you're on.
It does. And the final plea, really, from the dialogue is about having the courage to actually do that check-in, to pause mid-climb and look up, see where the wall actually leads.
Because the alternative is pretty grim.
Right. Nobody wants to get to the end, look back at all that effort, all that climbing, and realize, oh man, I climbed the wrong wall the whole time.
So the ultimate wisdom isn't about getting rich quick.
Not at all. It's that freedom isn't really in the money itself. It's in how you think about life, how you structure your income, the choices you make based on that thinking.
It really reframes everything. That final piece of advice from the source really sticks with you. It's not about beating the other guy up the ladder.
No, that's left side thinking competition within the cage. The real goal is simpler, but much harder.
Just make sure your ladder is leaning against the right wall.